I did an exercise once where it was, what do we have to do? Okay, so you had to go with somebody that knew you well, a partner, whether it's a friend, business partner, relationship partner, and you had to write down in one sentence a statement on who you thought you were. And the other person had to write down the same thing about who they thought you were. And you had to do the same to the other person and reflect on that. And this person wrote down for me, a student of humanity and an adventurer of life. And I went, wow, that's amazing. Like, thank you. Like, it's poetry. What'd you write? And I went, the successful fuck up. Right? And I thought about it. I'm like, there's so much pressure on living up to an expectation, on other people's expectations to be this poetic version that they may see you as. For me, the successful fuck up is something I greatly relate to, because it gives me permission to actually make mistakes and learn from them, because you're not who you think you are. You are not who they think you are. You are who you think that they think that you are. We all turn up as different versions of ourselves based on who we surround ourselves with. And then when you have a level of awareness in and around that, you start to play at a different level, a different game.
That's one of the best things anyone said on the show, bro. That's straight out.
See, just that in itself, that heavy gold nugget,
it's really nice,
is a perfect example of what I was able to experience through the time at K2, because
that's where we met.
That's where me and Dan met. That's how we know each other, and I can hand on heart say Kerwin's also changed my life. And in changing my life, it was able to leave a ripple effect in the people around me, the family, friends, colleagues, business owners, whatever it is. And of course, the same with you. I could probably hand on heart we could probably both say any impact that was left in that room has left an incredible ripple effect of the people in that room. But it's always a depth of knowledge to that extent where there's just a high level of, whoa, fuck. And then the trajectory just changes. Everything shifts, you start seeing things different, and it's a continual, those being stacked, that just changes how you see life, how you do life. That's what I experienced. And man, I love hearing this stuff. I connect so well to this is like music to my ears, and it gets me excited because it then leads me to say, how did this affect your business? How did these new glasses and this new mindset and this understanding of the world through what you've learned through professional development, through Kerwin, through K2, how did this lead you to scaling your business where you were able to step away? Because that's a heavy.
Yeah, because that's the question I actually wrote here. Like, there's a moment in time when you just said before, I had the opportunity to step away from my business, but how? Was it structure? Was it key personnel? Or was it just like
it's a concoction of things? But what are the things?
Well, I'll share with you the experience.
Really loaded questions,
mate. No. It's perfect. Actually, it's perfect. I'll share my experience from the very first mastermind that I went to with Kerwin. After doing the free one and then going to a Nail It and Scale It, and then stepping into the actual mastermind K2 group, I walked in there thinking, yep, I'm going to spend the next few days here and walk away with the keys to the castle on all of the tactics that I need to do operationally in my business to be able to smooth it all out, only to walk away 4 days later with my tail in between my legs going, oh shit, I've got to do a lot of work on myself first, right? So it really came down to mindset to start off with, right? That was the number one thing, right? Because like I said, you've got to be in the right frame of mind to be able to show up in business day in, day out, especially as a leader. I had a business at that point in time. I think I had around 15 in my team. So I was managing a team. I was a leader, but I wasn't showing up as a leader. I had the title of leadership, but I wasn't behaving like one, and leadership is a behavior, not just a title. And a leader needs to know the way, show the way, and go the way. Right. And that's really, really, really important from anyone that's sort of, managing a team, and just understanding that you've got eyes on you all the time, and what they see is what they will mimic, and that's the standard that they will hold themselves to as well. Now, beyond that, it is about systems, right? It's about planning, really, really important. We have our annual plan. We've just recently completed that. We do quarterly reviews on that. That's really important, because I think a lot of people get into the business with no plan, And it's a little bit like trying to find my way out here from the airport with no GPS. Okay.
And then traffic. Here we go.
Here we
Let's
go.
go, baby.
Yep. So you need to know your destination. You need to know what roads to turn down, where to go, when and where and how. And that changes. And a plan is meant to change. Particularly in business, you need to be able to pivot. There are things that just pop up out of nowhere, and you've got to be flexible in and around it. But you've got to have a really solid plan to start off with. Then scaling, you've got to have really strong systems, really strong standard operating procedures, SOPs. They're really the two big tactical things that I see a lot of businesses don't have. And that's really the only thing that's really holding them back from being able to scale and step out.